Good morning, everyone. It's Diamond G, back with another installment of Diamond G Speaks. I've been on hiatus for a little while. I'm no different than any other person. I have things going on around me, and time to time, I have to just kind of sit still. Be still and just kind of let the world move around me. I've been through a lot of different things in my life this year. This past, in the last November, my mother passed, and it was a very tumultuous time for me. I had a lot going on, in particular, when it comes to family and so-called family, and I had to wrestle with that quite a bit, and that's an ongoing struggle. But I tell you, it's something how God works. Now, there are those people who don't believe in God, and to each his own. What I have to say is still pertinent, to your situation, because even if you believe in just simply a cause and effect of the universe, it's going to hold true for you. But I've learned a whole lot. And then coming up on my 37th birthday, which was on July 20th, I really had an opportunity to, kind of settle and quiet my mind. As I looked around me, I noticed that, family that you would expect to be there, obviously, they catch feelings for whatever which reason, and you don't see them or hear from them or deal with them. The challenge is to not get angry. The challenge is to be able to forgive them and move on. Because if you can do that, the Lord will show you that you're not missing nothing. And a prime example of that for me was that not only, was my white party, it was an official white birthday party. Everybody was all white, really upscale event. Not only were we packed, we were overflowing. And it was a really nice event. We had two DJs. Shout out to DJ Exclusive, my man Jo, and DJ Renaissance, my wife's little brother and my baby brother Pat. And it was just a beautiful thing. I had my friends own Graffiti Junction restaurant. So if any of y'all ever come down this way, please go and patronize their business. They're beautiful people, and it's Peter's family. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciated it. But most important thing that I learned from that, it was like kind of one of those aha moments, and I really get aggravated when people say it's an aha moment. But for me, it really was. I stepped away for a little bit. I forgot something at the house, and I come back, and as I pull up, I'm overlooking basically the whole city of Claremont. We got this really awesome view. But as I'm coming up, I look over the rail and I'm looking at my party and I'm seeing a sea of white. And it hit me, like, man, these are people who care about me, and it was just a beautiful thing. And we're not talking about, run of the mill, saying, shiftless individuals, man. We're talking about some real quality people. And it was a blessing, because they came. I greeted everybody as they came in, and throughout the whole night, it was just like, Greg, we really want to thank you for considering us, good friends, to where we actually were, you invited us here. It makes us feel special. And these are movers and shakers out here, so between that and I had the Lazos who came, and they traveled far. We talking about Canada, France, Haiti, and then they flew in to, like, Port St. Lucie, and then had to drive hours, and they came up, and it was just a beautiful thing, and I've been part of that family now for let's see, me and my wife been together for like 17 years. So it's just a beautiful thing, and when my mom was alive, she was always telling me that, Gregory, don't worry about it. If you don't hear from this aunt or that uncle or these cousins, you got to really just kind of step back and understand that, the Lord moved them away from you for a reason, So I am very thankful for the few Trice family members who I am in constant contact with. It's just a blessing. I love you guys so much. A lot of us have grown up together. So that ain't never gonna change. For the rest of you Trice family members who have chosen to go in another direction, I forgive you. And I'll pray for you. That's all I can do. Like the family members, I hear from you all regularly, and thank you so much for the love and support. A lot of things I couldn't get through without a lot of you. So that's really important to me. So let's go a little further on this whole concept of forgiveness and moving beyond these type of detractors and haters. What'll happen a lot of times, is that you'll get so focused, you'll be so angry, you'll be like, oh damn it, oh, they're treating me like crap, and you just be, you be ready to explode. But what you don't realize is that you were taking your energy that could be going somewhere else, and you're just stuck in the muck on that. You're just stuck in the muck, man, and it's a bad luck, and unfortunately, there's no magic cure for that. I think that's the beauty of what God has done for us, as far as humanity. He gives us certain situations, and we have to work our way through it, and when you work your way through it, that opens up doors, to other avenues of success, and that's a really big thing. What is the son? Hold on, folks. Let me introduce my son. Come on over here. Come on over here. See this strapping young man right here. This is my boy. This is my son. Okay, it's my son, Javant. We call him G-Man. He is the future. He is Diamond G Jr. You should see the little skits that he puts on. But this little guy right here is one of the major motivations and factors for me working through stuff. He's him and his sisters. Together, they inspire me. And without fail, that couldn't be possible without my wife. But he's watching everything I do. Because someday he's going to lead this family. So I need to make sure that he has all the tools necessary, to take care of that. All right, okay, man. All right. Yeah, 220. Go ahead, 220. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Hey, family first, But when it comes down to it, you evaluate things, and then you start realizing that, hey, what is my purpose here? What is it that I need to bring to the world? What's going to make me happy? Now, I've been through a lot of, I've had quite a few transitions in my life. The most drastic was that I was a law enforcement officer. I worked for the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. I got injured in the line of duty, and literally I went from going to a point where I was working every day. I've worked every day of my life to just doing nothing, So for me, I had to evaluate where I was at, and there was nothing that anybody could do. My mom was alive. There's nothing she could say to me that made that all right. I found some comfort talking to my brothers and sisters in blue, that were going through the same thing, because, contrary to what, the media wants to portray, there are a lot of us out here, who were former cops, who were injured in the line of duty. I mean, and it's kind of rough because we feel like we've been discarded by society, and the only way that, we can kind of cope and get through is if we kind of try to seek each other out, So, you know, I worked my way through that, but I learned something, you know, and it was that, you know what, let me think here. Let's go down the list of everything I've done in my life. What is something that has been a passion for me, and what is something that has been a constant in every single career path and choice that I've taken. And there are two things that have been constants. One, I've always wanted to help people. You know, I put, you know, the well-being of my fellow man, pardon me, before myself. Okay, that's what brings me joy. You know, so that's number one. Number two, I've always been a leader. You know, and those of you who know me intimately, you know this to be a fact. You know, I've been, you know, everything I do, I'm trying my best to stay towards the top. You know, and it's nothing for me to reach my hand down to help out someone else, provided that they're helping themselves. You know, yeah, that's a big thing, and you know, again, I credit my parents with that, and you know, and not, you know, allowing me to fall into the American Negro trap. You know, and again, if you want to know what I mean by that, you need to reference a few of my previous videos about the American Negro and how they are just basically poisoning our society. You know, my family is no different than any other. We have individuals who've embraced American Negro culture, and turned their back on our heritage full sail. And you know, I'm disgusted by that. But again, there's nothing I can do. Right? That comes back to the point of, you know, I got to basically take myself away from that completely, you know, and I got to forgive these fools, and I got to focus on making sure that my children don't fall into that trap, because somebody's got to protect our family legacy, you know, and that's the big thing. And you know, it's just really sad. It really is. But you know, oh well, you know, what can I do? If you know, my parents took the time to, even with their faults or whatever, you know, things and mistakes they may have made, they found it important for me not to fall into American Negro foolishness and hedonism, if you will. You know, now if there are other members of my family whose parents have embraced that ignorance, or they chose to turn a blind eye to it, that's on them. You know, and there's nothing I can do about it, but I have to protect my own. You know. So, you know, sticking with that theme, you know, I've looked around and I'm like, man, what can I do? You know, what is it that drives me? So, you know, I started off, you know, once my mom passed, you know, it was important to finish her book, you know, A Journey into and Through Lupus. And, you know, the book is kind of therapeutic, you know, for me in a way. Now, you know, I can write. You know, I'm very brilliant in my own right. I'm well respected in a lot of academic circles. A lot of people, you know, you know, a lot of my brothers and sisters in education know that. And you know, for me, it was just like, I guess, like a necessary evolution, you know, if you will. So the book, you know, I've revised it about, I'm on revision number 8 right now, and I've already had it, you know, it's already gone through the editors. I've been blessed to have some heavy hitters in my corner that volunteered their time, you know, and just went through the book for me. And the bagman told me, said, why are you continuing to, you know, make revisions? You know, and I just told him, I said, you know, I don't know. When I feel it's right, then it'll be right, you know. So you know, I've gone through it, and the most important thing for me, you know, it's, you know, a lot of people don't know, when I was writing this book, you know, and you know, first my mom came with me with the idea. She's like, Gregory, you know, I like to be able to, you know, help people down. She's like, I need you to, you know, say, write this book, you know. And I was like, all right. So we went through, you know, she would tell me her stories, and you know, I'd write them down. And then, you know, before she passed, I was able to read the whole book back to her in its entirety. And I told her that, you know, the biggest thing that she was concerned about was that the way her story was being told. You know, she didn't want it You know, she didn't want to go to some big publisher, and then they decided, you know, try to make fiction out of it. And I told her, I said, well, you know what, I have the skill set and I have the time. Hey, I'm retired. I've got the time. So I said, well, we'll do, you know, I will write it as if, you know, it is, you know, what the person should be able to hear you in this. So, you know, that was rather challenging, you know, because it's an unconventional way of writing, you know, and for me, you know, I looked at it and I was like, okay, so here's what it is. So basically, what happens is that I'm almost like, you know, you could say I'm like a narrator of sorts, but there are certain parts in there. It's like, you know, you'll see it go from, you know, me telling you about A, B, and C, you know, and then you can tell, you know, it's like her voice, you know, so it's literally like you'll see it's like taking a flash, you know, saying, or a snippet. You know, it's like you get to go back in time and you can hear the words through her own mouth. You know, and my thing was that I wanted to change, you know, some of the language and everything. I struggled with that with her, but I was like, you know what? You know, I said, Mom, you know, I'm just gonna leave it. You know, I'm gonna leave it because this is your voice. You know, I said, so we're gonna leave it. You know, and that's been a struggle, but you know, that's what I've had to do. You know, and you know, it should be coming soon. That's all I'm gonna say. It should be coming soon. I'm just about at the end of where it's at, and that's the first book. And you know, there'll be a couple other books that will follow that are, you know, strictly Diamond G, you know, memoirs, if you will. I'm going to write a book about my experiences. I'm also going to, you know, dip into the philosophical side of my being, and you know, I'm going to go into the psyche of the American Negro and what I believe is the so-called black community. You know, and most importantly, you know, I really want to touch on the paradox that is the so-called black and so-called Latino law enforcement officer versus, you know, the American Negro type culture, and you know why it is that we are often scrutinized and thrown under the bus by our quote-unquote so-called own people, you know, but they're not. You know, they're American Negroes. They're not so-called blacks. They're American Negroes. You know, very animalistic in their approach to day-to-day life and everything else. But again, you know, you check my previous videos for that about, you know, about the American Negro. But yes, I'm gonna write a book about that as well. You know, and you know, the other major achievement is that the foundation, which is LDK, and that stands for Lightner, Doralis, and Kelly Foundation. It's something that's kind of like been a dream of mine to establish, and I told my mother about it before she passed. You know, and I said, yes, I'm gonna give it a go. And basically, it's the foundation. It's right now we have been in contact with Lake County, Florida, Children Adult Protective Services, and we're going to be helping our elderly in the community because they're underserved, underrepresented, and often thrown away. You know, and it's literally, you know, I'm not a millionaire by any stretch. However, you know, when you go to the supermarket and you see, you know, an elder member of our community, you know, counting out pennies to pay for their medication, you know that there's some things, other needs are not being met. You know, they're let's say they need to get the adult and consonant supplies and things like that. They're not going to be able to afford that. You know, so the goal of our foundation is to help these people, and most importantly, they keep their dignity. You know, that's the most important thing. They need to keep their dignity. You know, so often, you know, we look around us and we see these people, you know, and people just kind of just blow them off. But I'm that guy. For instance, yesterday I'm out with my daughter Jelena, and I'm already hurt. I've got a blood clot in my leg, and I'm struggling myself to get across the street. And I look across the parking lot, and what do I see? I see this older Caucasian lady, and she's got two canes, not one. She's got two canes, and she's 1-2ing it, all out of breath, and she is walking a tremendous distance. Now even in my broken down body situation at the time, I still walked over to her, and held out my hand. I told her, say, here, hold on my arm. I said, I got you. And the lady was like, well, I see you're limping. I said, listen, here's the thing. I said, even in my situation, my physical situation right now, I said, I'm still better off than you. And I said, and it's not gonna kill me to help you get across. And that's what I did. We walked and we talked. And Jelena's right there with me, and I just walked her across the street. I basically walked her through the parking lot, helped her get across the street, and made sure she was situated, and there's, for me, I do these things on a regular basis. There's no, I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but there's the intangibles that you don't see. Now, when I was doing that, I have my daughter with me, and the lady reaches out to my daughter and says, your daddy, your daddy's a good man. She's like, you're so blessed to have a daddy like him. And the pride, in my daughter's face, man, was just, immeasurable. And those are the type of things, that are inherent. They're in your genetics. And that is why the LDK Foundation is going to be successful. We do what we can. At the salon, our hair salon, GGL Family Hair Salon, which was started by my wife and I, and excuse me, contrary to what a few ignorant so-called family members had thought. We scrape, and we essentially went in the hole, to do this, because my thing was that my wife, she has supported me, she has followed me, around this country, and she's made a lot of sacrifices, for me. And the biggest sacrifice that she made, for me, she's given me 4 beautiful children, and but she followed me on my path, saying, to work for the sheriff's department, and being married to a cop is no easy task. The nights, if I came home, if I was working a shift and we had an emergency, and let's say I had to do an extraction, or I'm out in Trenton because something just jumped off, and we had a problem, got stuck in court or whatever, I had to be there, duty calls, and she supported me. So when she wanted to try to strike out on her own, I saw her pain. She didn't say anything. I saw her pain, and I was like, you know what, it's time. It's time, and she has to be her own boss. So we went. I've struggled, and we've had to do what we had to do. And again, I think maybe it's also a side effect, of American Negro, culture, and the drain that it is on our society as a whole. But they were ignorant people who were like, oh yeah, you got the money, they got the money from this one, they got the money from that one, or even better, they think you hit the lottery, and that's shameful, because that means that, we've lost our whole concept of hard work. Hard work, if your first thought when you see a successful person of color is that they hit the lottery, or they've been participating in some sort of illicit act, you know, there's no possible way they could have gotten, you know, where they're at through hard work, that means something's wrong with you. That means you bought in to the American Negro culture. And you know, without going into specifics, you know, this is something that's permeated into areas and to people who I would never thought, you know, would think such a thing, or I'd ever hear that come out of their mouths. You know, and it makes me feel sorry for the younger generation that's coming up. You know, but you know, we worked hard. You know, and like I said, even though we're not, you know, rich by any means, you know, we still do what we can. You know, we have people who come to our salon, and you know, a lot of them are cancer survivors, or they've just been diagnosed with cancer. You know, they come to the salon, and you know, they're pouring their heart out to us. You know, and you know, I just told later, I told them, I said, listen, I said, we'll take care of this. You know, oh, you know, I know you guys are small business. You know, you know, I said, no, I got this. You know, now my time, you know, saying I have abundance of that. You know, that doesn't cost me anything. You know, and it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. You know, when you see the look on a person's face, you know, who has, you know, had hope snatched from them, you know, and they realize that there are people out there that care, you know, and we do it for no other reason other than we care, you know. So, you know, the foundation, you know, it's literally an extension of myself. You know, I always like to, you know, people tell me like, oh man, you know, you changed a lot, you know, and they look at me, and what is that I am an extension of both my mother and my father, you know, and throughout the years, you know, I've been with my wife for quite a while. A lot of, you know, her, you know, just being herself has kind of made me reach my potential. You know, I'm not, you know, that guy that's basically made out of stone. You know, and it's a beautiful thing to see, you know, and the benefits of that. So that's what I do. I volunteer my time, you know, and you know, the LDK Foundation, you know, we're going to be reaching some extraordinary lengths in the next few months here. We've been selected by the NFL, yes, the NFL, and USA Football to bring the NFL flag football program here to Claremont, Florida. And not only that, I was personally asked to head up the program here. So, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to change lives, you know, one thing at a time, you know. And again, even that situation was born out of chaos, you know, and a bad situation. And, you know, just turns out that the right people were listening, you know, and they reached out to me and they said, hey, listen, you know, we heard that you're the type of guy who doesn't, you know, back down, and that you stand up for what's right. You know, and simply by me not compromising my morals or my ethics, you know, it's allowed, you know, a lot of blessings, you know, to come my way. And I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about blessings of the soul and of the spirit. You know, those are the best blessings you can have. You know, I go out. You know, people see me. You know, and hey, Big G, hey, Diamond G, how you doing? Makes me feel good. You know, makes me feel good. You know, I walk into a place. You know, everybody knows me. They want to see me. They want to talk to me. And it's not because, you know, I'm you know, all flash and dash. You know, it's because my actions in the community, you know what I'm saying, had spoken volumes. You know, and like I said, it was work that was started by both my parents. You know, my mother, she comes down here, moved down here to Florida with us, and she's out in the community, you know, doing good deeds. I had no idea that she was doing it. You know, and a lot of stuff I didn't find out about until after she passed. You know, and you know, I've heard, you know, oh my goodness, you know, you're Yvonne's son. You look so much like her. You know, you sound like her. And, you know, I was like, well, how did you know? How do you know who I am? And then they were like, well, I talked to this person and that person, and they told us about how, the things that you've done in the community. I've gone in my pocket a lot of times too to help out people. And like I said, I'm not rich, but it's not going to kill me, to try to help someone out. And they said, that we knew right off the bat. They were like, yeah, this guy reminds me of this guy, of this old lady Yvonne, and I knew, like, oh yeah, that's her son. And and that warms my heart. So that's been it's been a blessing. So I'm finally there though. It's been a long road, but I'm finally there. My birthday celebration. All this family that came down and came around me, and a lot of the family that called me. And like my cousin David. I mean, he was heartbroken that he couldn't get here. And I love him dearly, man. And the thing is that I told him that, hey, there's always going to be other times for us to get together, and that's a beautiful thing, but I finally got it though. I finally get that. I finally understand that, and my goal is to just continue to help bring a lot of positivity, or as my mother used to say, the white light. Bring the white light to as many people as I can. So that's going to be about it. The next segment that I'm going to do is going to be on the situation that we now have with these Negroes, American Negroes, the way that they want to attack the police, and they try to make it out like any police officer, whether he's black, or Latino, he's automatically considered white. And what ends up happening is that we are faced with the type of ignorance that's permeating our society, that's perpetrated on us by the media in general. There was a young brother up in New Jersey, up in Jersey City, that was shot and killed. And the media, instead of them just basically calling this guy what he was, an animal, for killing this young brother while he pulled up in his patrol car, they want to talk about the black community versus the police. That is asinine. The black community versus the police. Like, no, these are savages. These are not members of the black community. They are American Negroes. They are predicated on their natural raw instincts. They don't think about the things they do. A lot of the stuff they do is inflammatory. But we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk at length about that and what we can do as a society to combat that type of ignorance, and how specifically the so-called black community really needs to take a stand, and take a stand against the media that's involved with this stuff here. Hey, the bottom line is, when it comes to the media, we live in a society where things are controlled. It's like ebbs and flows. I don't have a problem with it. I really think that it's necessary, because without it, you can't really tell who are the educated from the ignorant. And if there is a mass, that the masses want to be swayed by foolishness and stupidity, well, the bottom line is they're being run amok. So it kind of thins out the herd. But again, I digress. Let me take a step back. We'll get into that on the next video. All right. So everybody out there, be blessed and stay tuned.